Senator Nguyen.
Thank you. For the second time today, that's Senator Nguyen. Once again, Nguyen. Just give me a second. Senator Tiago is a bit tall. Okay. Let me know when my judges are ready. Let's go. We always say the words, never put a price on life. But when we put a price on healthcare, that's just empty rhetoric. So many are having to choose between paying for healthcare or paying for food on the table. And our choice today determines whether they have to make that choice tomorrow. Use your choice to prescribe them the cure they need. So the entire negation basically says that without private insurance, hospitals are done for. I want to explain why removing private insurance is actually the lifeline they need. Now, everyone has already told you that hospitals are facing high costs, but no one has explained where those costs are even coming from. UC San Diego Health finds on September 22nd of 2021 that because 18 million Americans can't buy expensive medicine, they later end up in the hospital for preventable illnesses. Just from those extra patients, hospitals are losing $30 billion each year. The wealth of big pharma is hurting the health of hospitals. They need a cure, and today's legislation is the prescription. Now, Senator Long says private insurance won't be able to cover prescription drugs anymore. But that's a reason why you pass. Chicago Medicine finds on May 1st of 2020 that banning private insurers gives this government leverage to negotiate lower drug prices with pharmaceutical companies. Think about it. If the only ones paying Pfizer is this government, we can demand lower prices because they don't have any buyer. That's why a 2020 UC San Francisco study finds that without private insurance, negotiating through a universal Medicare system could reduce drug prices by 27%. Senator Lung, getting rid of the millionaires today means giving medicine to the millions tomorrow. But what about hospitals? Senator Lung, Misra, and Tiagli are worried about wait times and burnout. But when Americans can afford over-the-counter medicine, it cures preventable illnesses, so they won't need to go to the hospital in the first place. Senator Tiagli, affordable Tylenol decreases time in the hospital. A meta-study of 22 models in the last 30 years finds that a single-payer system would decrease wait times by 28 days and decrease doctor burnout by 34%. That means life-saving medicine can finally start saving lives. The Yale School of Public Health found on June 20th of 2022 that a Medicare for All system could save an extra 335,000 lives per year because Americans get the prescription drugs they need and hospitals are no longer burnt out. They no longer need to take on an extra burden and they can stay open. To everyone on the negation, if you're worried about hospitals and patients, then pass today's legislation. Senator Casey, you talked about choice. Under our plan, we make sure everyone gets one. Americans deserve a cure. Use your choice to give it to them.
Thank you, Senator, for that speech of 3 minutes and 1 second. Questioners rise. Between those standing, that's first going to go to Senator Amare.
Hello.
Okay, so yes or no? Under this legislation, do private companies still subsidize costs, like private insurers?
Only for supplementals, not prescription drugs.
Yeah, but they still do, right? So who actually sets prices for like medication? Is it the insurers or is it someone else?
So how it works is that Pfizer ends up selling their drugs to a private insurance or the government. If it's only the government, we can demand lower prices.
I thought it was private pharmaceutical benefit managers that set costs,
No.
right? An entirely different system.
Under our system, we can make sure the government
Senator
can set
Jackson.
prices.
What causes robust investment into the private sector and medicinal R&D?
Usually an incentive to make newer drugs and monopolize it.
Okay, well, mostly it's that people have an excess of profits because medicinal R&D is a risky thing to invest in, right?
Okay, sure, they can
How
still
is
have
this legislation
excess profit.
funded?
Today's legislation is funded through the government.
Through a wealth tax, right? That takes
Sure.
away excess profit from
Yeah,
people,
and
no?
Americans get to live.
Right, but medicinal R&D gets worse, and it doesn't raise enough money.
R&D wouldn't get worse because we worked with the Pfizer company.
That was a speech in affirmation. We're now looking for